Good morning, Open Door. I'm going to use the mic so that it records well, so we can get it up on YouTube there. So good morning and welcome and happy Sunday. We're here again. I'm just always so excited to be here. It is a treasure to be able to come here and be with all of you on Sunday morning. I hope you know that by now, that it just is basically what my world thrives on. So, you know, to have the opportunity to come here and be a part of a community that is committed to folks growing in spiritual arenas together is just phenomenal. You know, I think my soul has been searching for this for beyond time. I think many of us have. So, and, you know, just think for a moment of all the people who are also looking for that. Today my message is on Earth Day and how important the nature of our activities is to every one of us because of how those activities affect our planet, our home, the home planet, if you will. I haven't found another one yet. I don't know about y'all. But, you know, the way we live is absolutely integral to whether we will continue to live on this planet. So realistically, everybody everywhere could benefit from hearing what we have to share this morning. So think about your friends, think about your family, bring them in here. We are growing. It is outstanding. It is phenomenal every Sunday to come in here and see new folks and new faces and new friends and new family really is what you are. So let's just watch it continue to unfold. I can't wait until we've got to be lugging and tugging the chairs from the social hall down here every Sunday. Wouldn't that be a great experience? So, yahoo and thank you for being here. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about Earth Day today. This coming Friday, April the 22nd, is the 46th anniversary of Earth Day. And Kathy came in and she sat down back there to do PowerPoint. And then she showed me a little badge. Kathy, stand up so folks, if you don't mind, can see your badge. She has a badge that she got. She was in college, you said? You're not that old. When Earth Day was first celebrated, and she got that badge on Earth Day, April 22nd, 1970, and still has it, which I just find phenomenal. So, but yeah, you know, this is a big deal. We here at Open Door Center, you know, we're not real picky or choosy about what we celebrate because we understand that anytime we celebrate something, we're really celebrating good. We're really celebrating whatever it is that's at heart of everything. We can call it God. We don't care what you call it everything, call it anything, call it nothing, call it it. Ernest Holmes did, okay? You know, we're fine with whatever we call it, but we understand that when we celebrate something, we are celebrating that divine something that lives within everything. And so today our excuse, and we don't really usually need one, but our excuse today is that it is coming up, we're coming up facing Earth Day. I'll also share with you that Friday is the beginning of that sacred season in the Jewish tradition known as Passover, which of course is a recognition of the time during which the Jewish people were passed over. They survived. They, you know, the forces of whatever that were in effect then looked the other way, and they were saved or rescued or delivered, whatever term you want to use, from some untimely situations, demise or whatever. So that's an awesome reason to celebrate too. We might be talking about Passover some next Sunday. So one of the things that I am ever more aware of as I continue to grow in spiritual awareness is how whatever that thing is, that which is back of, that which is part of, whatever it is, what we call God or anything else, okay, is a part of everything, and that therefore that makes everything that is alive. I believe that is especially true of this planet that we live on, its oceans, its waterways, the ground, the plants, the trees, the sky, all of it. I see it as holy. I think many of us do. I also like to take it a step further, and I believe that not only is it sacred, it is hugely interactive with us. And if we are aware of it as a living being, it responds to us. Mike and I were riding down North River Road yesterday evening. And after we got behind whatever the heck was happening back there that involved numerous people walking and an ambulance following them, and we were about 8 cars back, and the language out of my mouth was not very sacred, okay, because I was in a hurry to get where I was going. My stomach was growling. But once we got past all that, Mike looked over, he was riding, and so the river was on, his right, and all of a sudden he just starts jumping up and down in the car seat saying, "Did you see it? It was the bald eagle." And, I know, we actually saw him one day circling the back of the townhouse one Saturday. So, but I'm gonna start going down there and looking for it, because I know that it must have a nest or something somewhere in there. But at any rate, so before we get started, and as we get started, I have a question for all of you. And now you can be honest about this and forthright and answer out loud, but you don't have to be, okay? Most all of us have plants. We have plants in the house, or maybe we have plants and we've potted outside, or we like to garden or whatever. Do you talk to those plants? You don't have to answer. Yeah, some of you are just so cool. I love it. We're like so hippie-fied in here. Okay, I love it. Okay. Well, me too. Actually, last week, my neighbor was doing a good turn for another neighbor, and he pressure washed her deck with bleach, and it was pretty windy, and it blew back onto a plant on my deck. And so all week, it's been too cold at night for the plant to be outside, so every morning I carry it out and talk to it, and every night I put it in the bathroom with the light on and the door closed so the cats don't chew on it, because God knows what they would do, okay? But, I talk to my plants anymore. I feel bound to. It's almost like they're calling to me. They want me to speak to them so that they know that I am aware that they are sentient, okay? So, okay. Well, I'm glad I'm in good company here with people who talk to their plants. So, most of you know I have whole conversations with the cat family at the house, so I figure that makes me kind of a breed unto myself, or just plain weird or something, I don't know. To talk a little bit about Earth Day. This started 46 years ago, as I mentioned, and it started after a lot of frustration on the part of Senator Gaylord Nelson, who had been traveling all around the country during the early 1960s, and he had seen an awful lot of devastation of different natural resources. The planet was not well. If you recall, historically, it was only a few years before that, I think it was 1955, that we finally passed the beginning of the Clean Air Act, which forced corporations to start cleaning up their act insofar as what they were dumping into the atmosphere. Nelson was really bothered by what he saw. It just really affected him. He was very concerned that it was not a political issue, because he felt like the louder, that the noise was, the more potential we had to affect, some kind of healthy change. Well, he kind of kept watching this for a while, and finally he went to Bobby Kennedy, who was the Attorney General, and to John F. Kennedy, who was the President. This was like 2 short months before Kennedy was assassinated, and he said to them, "I really think that you need to be involved in this." And so Jack Kennedy, shortly before he was killed, went on this like 5-day, 11-state huge tour of all kinds of conservation efforts, okay? And in an effort to make this a more national thing, to create awareness, especially on a political level, but for America as a whole too. And even after that, nothing happened for a lot of years. And finally, late 69 or something, Nelson kind of besieged his senatorial staff. He said, this isn't going anywhere. We have no money appropriated to look at this as an issue politically. My fellow politicians are deaf to it. We need to take it to the people. What do you think we should do? And they said, you need to take it to the school children. You need to take it to their parents and to the people who live in little towns who live on the ocean, who live in the mountains, who care about the planet. And what he found was things just opened up. Okay, and we know when that kind of spiritual falling into place happens, it's kind of like divine order has been claimed, right? So it was like that happened. In fact, Nelson later said of Earth Day, when I really got in, my intention was clear, it just happened. It organized itself. So here we are 46 years later, coming up on another Earth Day. It's just to me, a really huge thing. Now, you might think it's bizarre that we talk about this here at Open Door, and yet in many ways, it's not. We are kind of eclectic, there's a word, okay? We're kind of eclectic when it comes to our spiritual understanding. If we look at Open Door and we look at what happened as Ernest Holmes was studying and educating himself and becoming more and more aware about things, what we find out is that Ernest read and studied all the great spiritual traditions, all the world religions. He brought things from science, from philosophy, from mathematics, from all kinds of fields into play. And he had one of those minds where he could read something, and weeks or months or even years later, if he was in a conversation with you and wanted to go back to what he read, he could walk to the stack of books. He was surrounded by books everywhere. This was way before the internet. He could find the book, pull it out, turn to the page, go to the paragraph, and sit in communication and communion with you about what he believed, where he got certain ideas. So we understand this philosophy to hail from all, literally it's a compendium of all of the themes that Ernst saw that ran through all those spiritual teachings. To me, that's one of the things that makes this such a great understanding, is that it isn't dogma. It's what someone was able to pull together even before the internet, okay, when they looked at the great teachings of the world and they saw glimmers of consistency through all those teachings. And so they sat down and put it together on paper. You may remember that several years ago we did a whole series, and if you go back to on YouTube, probably it's like maybe October of 2014 up through Christmas. We did a whole series of messages on the different world religions, different spiritual teachings. We even looked at things like the Wicca understanding, okay? And things like panentheism, which is kind of a non-focused understanding that, we kind of have to break the word down. Panentheism, when it is broken down, pan means all, en means in, and theism means God or the divine. So panentheism, when it's put together, is essentially all in God. We understand in science of mind we are panentheistic, okay? We understand that whatever God is, and we don't claim to have the total understanding on that, and we never will, okay? Not anybody who truly lives science of mind will, because we understand that spirit is always evolving, okay? But we get that whatever God is, it is present in all that is. It is present in the seen and the unseen. For me, this understanding is much more like quantum science, quantum physics, than it is something based in what we might ordinarily consider religious or spiritual teaching, because it's just kind of mathematically astute in many ways, okay? So we know that whatever God is, it's present in everything. Again, I find that to be a very hippie-fied kind of idea, okay? To me, it's pretty funny, okay? But we know that spiritual teachings many spiritual teachings incorporate this viewpoint too. The most predominant, the ones that come to mind are things like Native American teachings and Buddhism. I think Buddhism is amazingly aware that all of life is sentient, that all of everything is awake and alive. I remember watching some movie about 25 years ago, and it was fiction, but it was about these Buddhist monks, and they were going to build a temple, but there was an ant farm in the way. And so they moved it. They moved it. They lifted those loving little beings up and took them to a sacred space and helped them rebuild their home. We don't live like that much anymore, do we? Yeah. If we look at science, though, sometimes what we can see is glimmers of some spiritual teaching or more complete awareness glimmering through. The guy that's on the wall there is a man by the name of Cleve Baxter. Have any of you ever heard of Cleve? Well, I got a special spot in my heart for this guy. I never met him. He's dead now, of course. Cleve Baxter, at the heyday of his career, worked for the Central Intelligence Agency. And the reason I connect with him so much is that my father worked for the CIA. In fact, it might have been a few years past Cleve's time. He was only there for about 10 years. But still I know that the things that my father was involved in, he actually was an espionage agent who traveled all over the world. I don't know anything about it. That's how secret it was. Now, he's been dead for 40-something years, 41 years. He died in 75, okay? My family never knew anything about what he did. But doing the work he did, he rested heavily upon the teachings and the learning that Cleve Baxter brought to the CIA. Baxter had been in the Navy during World War II, but his true passion was in intelligence and deception. In his memoirs, he makes the statement that he could always tell when someone was lying. Okay? He just knew, and he just knew that he knew. He had no question about that. Okay? So he studied and he worked and he built the first lie detector test. That was after he had spent a lot of years in what I gotta find the term here, this is scary, hypno and narco interrogationism truth serum, okay? Yeah, so I don't know what really want to know the kinds of things he did. It was probably pretty scary, but after he studied in that work, he went to the CIA and he developed their polygraph program. That was the beginning of lie detector tests and things like that being used. He was there for about 10 years and then he moved to New York City and he opened up the Baxter School of Lie Detection. Okay, I just like really, you're kidding? How bizarre is that? Okay, he taught for years New York Police Department detectives, FBI agents, people of that ilk. Okay, to use polygraph as a consistent and reliable tool. Okay. He testified in courtrooms. He appeared before Congress many, many times. He developed a thing called the Baxter Zone Comparison Technique, which is a methodology for conducting lie detection testing. It's still used today. Okay. In law enforcement, he is a legend. I mean, he is like a legend. Okay. All of that though happened before what I want to share with you, okay? I just kind of wanted to set the backdrop. He was a weirdo, okay? I think of him and I think of folks like my father who just kept strange hours and had strange passions and, were, interested in things and would get involved in something and be awake for days. Probably there's a diagnosis for that, okay? But, we've all got them, right? I don't know, okay? Baxter had been awake all night in his lab on the morning of February the 2nd, 1966. He'd been playing with his polygraph test and thinking about it, and he walked over to the side of the room to get a cup of coffee. And near the coffee pot was a Dracaena plant. I think that's what that is right there, isn't it? Yeah, I knew Sheila would know if you were here. Yeah, I don't know my plants, but that's a Dracaena plant. His secretary had brought a Dracaena plant into the office to brighten it up. So Baxter started looking at this thing, thinking he wondered, could he get any kind of response from the plant? Now, the way polygraph works, when you are hooked up to a lie detection equipment, is it works through three things. It considers your pulse, it considers your respiration, and it also looks at the galvanic skin response. That's basically your perspiration, okay? So Baxter wondered, could he hook the plant up to the machine and induce some kind of an anxiety response in the plant. So he hooked the plant up, and then he got a match, and he decided he was going to light one of the Dracaena plant's leaves. He was going to burn it. Before he even got near the plant, the machine registered a huge response, okay? Baxter probably wet his pants. I mean, he just was like so excited he couldn't stand it, okay? It really was like the coup de grace of things he had believed in all his life, okay? And I don't think he really was looking at consciousness at large, but he just was excited that he was able to, you know, to get some kind of response from something other than a human being. He went on to use all kinds of strange substances, okay, as testing fields for his lie detection equipment, including human saliva and even yogurt, okay, whatever, okay. But he was just really thrilled. To him, this was credence that not only was it the plant capable of responding, you know, from a place of fear, but it read his mind, okay? Now, you know, that's a strange, creepy, almost sci-fi kind of phenomenon, isn't it? And I will tell you guys that I'll be sitting in my living room in the morning with my coffee, and I'll think it's time to have another cup of coffee. And I live with 4 cats, and they have trained me to feed them when I get coffee and before I move a muscle. One of them in particular is in that kitchen. He knows it's coming, okay? I swear he reads my thoughts. It's really scary, okay? It's like, I'm taking you to the vet today. Won't see him for a while, okay? Baxter's work was repeated over and over. You can look at it online. You know, if you go to the kind of more traditional websites, they're going to tell you, oh, that's a crock, okay, it didn't really happen. And then you're going to go to others. David Wilcock, I think, has a lot of data out about things like this. Okay, that's where I initially learned about Baxter and the work that he had done. And, you know, he says it's been repeated over and over and over. Okay, well, it has, and, you know, the results have been varying. I have one belief about all that kind of testing, and that is our belief, the belief of those who are doing the testing holds a predominant amount of credence in how things work, so how things turn out. But, you know, I think, to me, if there's credence in this, that it underscores that belief that all of life is alive, that it isn't just us, that it isn't just human beings as the dominant species who, you know, have sentient responses to things, okay? I know that many of you are aware of the work of Masaru Emoto. He just died about 18 months ago. He is a Japanese author and scientist who did a lot of work with water and words. Can we see the next slide there, Kathy? This is water taken from the Fujiwara Dam in Japan. To me, it's phenomenal that that top slide is the water as it is taken from the body of water there, okay? That's what it looks like before prayer. And then beneath it, the second slide, the lower slide, is after prayer was offered by a Buddhist monk. Now, say what you like about prayer, but prayer is simply this. It's words, it's sound, and it's intention. Okay? That's all it is. It's word, it's sound, and it's intention. Now, I grew up in the 1970s, and somehow, some way, the whole recycling movement made a huge impact on me. My parents never did anything like that. I think they would have thought it crazy to hang on to all the beer cans my brother generated. God, landfills at large, okay? Tell you a little bit about my family makeup there, okay? And, you know, every piece of paper that one no longer needed, okay? I think they would have found that crazy. But somehow I got bitten by that bug. And, you know, those of you who know me well will laugh. Sometimes obsession is a good thing, you know? I have 2 39-gallon trash cans on my back deck. One is for paper, The other is for everything else, the steel, the aluminum, the glass, the plastic, okay? And I recycle the little, you buy a package of pens and it comes in this plastic sheath and the whole back of it is cardboard. Honey, I peel that cardboard off that sucker, throw the plastic in the trash because I don't know what else to do with it, and recycle that cardboard. Mike is like, you're so weird. I'm like, no, he actually is the same way, okay? Probably one of the reasons the relationship has lasted 8 years, okay? It's as if caring about the planet has gone from being a humanly responsible thing to do to part of my spiritual sadhana, okay? Part of my spiritual practice is if I see something that can be recycled. My office mate, I really love this gal, leaves at 4 o'clock every day. She has children and she's worked out a situation where she can leave at 4, work through lunch and leave early so she doesn't have to go, worry too many more hours about what her kids are doing, and can get home and do the homework and do the things that need to happen. On Tuesday afternoons after she leaves, I go through her trash can, okay? And I pull out all the plastic bottles, and I pull out all the paper that isn't confidential, and I put it all in the recycling bin so that it goes outside the next day, okay, for the little recycling people to come and get, okay? Do you recycle? Yeah, I love you guys. Please. There's a gazillion ways that we can support this planet in its health. If you don't, please come talk to me. I will give you cans. I will come and get it from your doorstep. I am committed to seeing that be done on this planet because I think the ramifications for not doing it are huge. Okay? Very amazing. If you do recycle, if you're already doing that, please think about this. That's plastic. Okay? I bought it. Okay? We all buy water in plastic jugs. We all do it every day. Okay? The only problem with it is this. And I would much rather us have water than be dehydrated and not have water. That jug, the average lifespan of a plastic container is 450 years. Some plastic will not degrade for 1,000 years. Ain't gonna be here that long, you guys. Not in this body, okay? I mean, maybe a few hundred, okay, but not quite that long, okay? It's really a net. And I remember when plastic was like born, okay? My mother, when Tupperware came about, my mother just was like ecstatic, okay? I don't know what y'all have been using before that, okay? Because I wasn't old enough to remember. But she was just like the Tupperware queen for a while, okay? I mean, I still got Tupperware she had, okay? I don't know whether it's very good to use or not, right? Some of it is so funky. My kids come to my house and go, God, Mom, how old is that thing? I'm like, it's older than you are, okay? That's for sure, But it's serious, okay? Step away from your need to use plastic. Buy a glass bottle or a plastic container or something else and take your water with you. Every time you come here, there's water back there in a big jug and there's water in there in a big jug. Fill up your jugs. I don't care. I will fill up those again and bring it back. It's great water. It's been filtered, okay? My well at my townhouse is amazing, huge, wonderfully filtered water, okay? Step away from the little Keurig machines. In some countries, those have been outlawed, okay, because of what they're doing to the planet. We had a machine die at the office, and that's what they bought. And I'm like, talking about recycling here, guys. I'm going to bring it up at the next staff meeting again, and y'all are going to hate me some more. I don't really care, okay? If you garden, think about what kind of plants you're buying. Because an awful lot of the stuff sold in the large retail chains now has been treated with neonicotinoids. Boy, I said that word. Can you believe it? Okay. Those are synthetic pesticides that attack the central nervous system of all kinds of insects and bees. I know you know that if the bees go, goodbye humans. Our intellect will not, our egos will not pull us out of that one. Okay. How many of you clean your houses? No, not me, okay? Well, Open Door met at my house for 4.5 years, and during that time I cleaned about 3 times a week, okay? Because we had all kinds of things going on, and we met on Sunday afternoons too. And when y'all moved out, I said, never again, okay? And you could come to my house and go, she meant it too, she really did. It's pretty scary, okay? But, so look at what you're cleaning with. A lot of that stuff is just incredibly toxic to the environment. That whole wave of antibacterial hand soaps, all that stuff contains triclosan, which they have found in the placentas from newborn babies. And in the ground and the waterways, don't use it unless you have to, okay? Use something else. If you notice when you go in the bathrooms here, we have gone to botanically oriented, healthier products to wash our hands and dishes and clothes and things like that. We don't wash our clothes here, but you know what I'm saying. Look at what you're using. Look at the shampoo, okay? The shampoo is my big honk right now, okay? And a lot of this for me has been like an awakening. So it's like I'll get the kick, the urge at the beginning of a year to sort of look at this arena of my life and begin to up-level it and live it more in intention with my spiritual values, okay? That I am not leaving a huge footprint, that I'm not doing damage either to the planet or to something else, that I'm living in a way that bespeaks love for everything and everyone around me. Last year it was the cleaning products at my house. This year it's the products I'm using on myself. It's things like my makeup, okay? It's things like the hair goo, okay, that makes it so nice and curly and behave, sort of, okay? I mean, you know, it takes a lot of spiritual mind treatment to get this to work too, okay? But look at the stuff that we're using and begin to get conscious of what isn't so good about it. Find something that is different, okay? What kind of amazing practices do you utilize to support Mama Earth?
What kind of is that what you're saying? What kind of product?
Yeah, how have you learned to orchestrate your behavior in a way that's supporting the planet?
Big time recycling.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Okay.
Bought a Prius.
Bought a Prius, yes. I was thinking about your car when I was thinking about this. I was like, yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I have a small car and I try to consolidate trips as much as I can.
That's
I
good.
can't always, but when I can,
Mm-hmm.
I do that.
Yeah. Sarah?
People, you know, they buy the paper products for picnics and plastic forks and all that. Don't do it anymore. You have to break down, get you some, Walmart has the Cornell, whatever.
Right.
And wash them.
Yeah.
They don't break or anything like that. Take them, get you some real cheap silverware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just,
Yeah.
and that is an amazing thing right there.
It's
Because we
huge.
have 5 o'clock parties every Friday on our mountain for
Mm-hmm.
neighbors to get together at each home.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic, and I have recycle. I have my bin. When
Yep.
we have it, I'm going to put all your
Yep.
recyclables in here, please. But I'm not even doing that anymore. When we do it, it's all glass, silverware, and I don't have a dishwasher.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Here we have not gone to stuff like that, but if you'll notice the products in the break room, it's paper. It is not styrofoam. And if that paper is not just beyond gross, you're welcome. The plastic utensils, you're welcome to always put those in the recycling bin. We sort through that stuff at my house, okay? I mean, you know, this is, like I said, almost probably bordering on a sickness, but, you know, I'm committed to doing that. I'm committed to working through that stuff, yes.
I'm having fun making my detergents, my well,
That's
laundry
awesome.
also, but the hand, you know, the dishwashing and hand soap, and
Mhm.
I don't have a dishwasher. I wash in buckets,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is such a joke. But
Wow.
it's like, where do you want to put the washing machine? Take the toilet out? I mean, because it is that tight. the little
It's
thing we
tiny.
live in. But, so I'm washing in buckets, but I hang it on the line and I put it in a low voltage dryer. But it gives me a lot of exercise because a dryer is a whole hike down a
Oh,
hill
wow, yeah.
and back up, and I did
Mhm.
really, it's enough to knock me out a bit, which is not a good sign that I can't take that. But
Yeah.
it's good I do it. But
Yeah,
I love making my own soaps, my
that's
stuff out of
great.
bars of coconut castile
Mhm.
I've been buying, but Dr. Bronner's would be good. You just put hot water on it.
Mhm.
But it's kind of fun, and it has annoyed my husband. I put a lot of lavender. I use a lot, and my dog. No more flea stuff so far.
Yeah.
So good. You put the lavender on the. I use witch hazel,
Yeah.
and just smear it all over. He's 16 years old. Putting flea drops on him is
Wow.
cruel at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, it helps him chase cars better.
That's
It's healthy enough to still chase the cars.
That's amazing.
He
You've
sure
had that
is at
dog for a
16.
while. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Vinegar-based weed killer.
Vinegar-based weed killer, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And neem oil.
Yeah,
Neem oil would
and
be
neem
good. I
oil,
get that.
okay, I didn't know
I'll
about
look
that.
into that, but
Huh.
it kills, it's an insecticide,
Wow.
repellent, not an insecticide, it's
Yeah.
repellent.
It just, it so matters, you know? It's,
Feels good.
when I got involved in the whole, oh, I can't say this word without looking at it, sorry. The neonicotinoids in plants, you know, what I realized one day was that that's like setting out a bunch of pansies for the bees to come and die from. That's like orchestrating the death of those creatures, okay? And I don't want that on me. I don't want that on my soul, okay? I don't want that on my consciousness. They have every right to be here, as much right as I do. You know, they're incredibly important to the environment. Yeah. Other ideas. Wow. Okay. If we go back or go forward to the slide that was up there a minute ago. There we go. Down at the bottom, you see a website, agnt.org, Season for the Earth. If you just remember agnt.org, that's Association for Global New Thought, and they are kind of like one of our kissing cousins, okay? They do a heck of a lot of stuff, and they have been doing a heck of a lot of stuff for years. They have tons of meditations and tons of just really cool things to do out in community, ways to support people in living in ways that are more congruous with their belief systems. I bring that up specifically because they have a very cool 13-minute video meditation that you can go on there and watch. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, but that video meditation is really sweet. It was a little too long for me to share this morning, but you can get that link and go to their website and find all kinds of really amazing things. Another way to lessen the impact is to eat out less. You know, I love to go out to eat. It's a huge treat for me. I would probably eat out every day if I had the money and my body would tolerate those foods. It won't anymore. It has made it clear to me that I have to eat consciously, okay? And that I can eat and cannot eat some things. It's just how it goes. I don't have a beef with it anymore most days, okay? But the big thing about it is the food service industry is a huge impact on our planet, okay? Think of the tons and tons and tons of stuff that go into garbage every day that aren't getting recycled. If you do eat out, think about, you know, patronizing restaurants where when you take your food away in a to-go box, it is not styrofoam. It is that heavy-based cardboard that is fully recyclable, okay? You know, think about, I don't need that beverage to go with me because they're going to give me a freaking styrofoam cup, okay? I can wait till I get home and have something else to drink, okay? When you eat lower on the food chain. That makes a huge difference too, you know, to the planet, to the animal life, and all of it. When you shop, you know, you all have heard this, shop the perimeter, stay out of the middle. That's where all the highly processed crap is, okay? Edit that word out, thank you, okay, on the YouTube thing. But eat the produce, the meat, the milk, the dairy, the stuff around the perimeter, and let go of the rest of that stuff. It's expensive, it's overly wrapped, okay, and heavily processed. Your body, your wallet, and our planet will say thank you, okay? And when you pray, guys, pray for the earth. If you don't pray, I don't care. When you wake up in the morning and the first thing you see when you look outside is this amazing green planet, simply say thank you. Say, wow. Say, good job, Earth. You did an amazing thing today. So what if the temperature's 33 and I want it to be 74, okay? It'll get there eventually. It'll probably go to 84 before long, right? Well, I'll be griping about that, okay? If we say thank you, if we are alive and acknowledge this planet as alive, it will continue to hold us up. It is an interactive environment. Say yes to participating in its perfect life today. I love you. Thank you.